does sleep really play into your overall wellness, fitness condition? I've heard, like, since I was a child, you need 8 hours sleep. Is 8 hours really what you need? Is it different for every person?
I'm sure it's different for every person. Some people say, I got 3 hours, I'm fine, I can move the building. Well, God bless you. But for most people, you really do need about 7 to 8 hours of sleep as an adult. Now, sleep is not a time you're just losing. Sleep is like the trees in the winter lose their leaves. They look like they're sleeping, but those trees are very much alive, and they are building up the energy. They're restoring themselves, so when the fall comes, or when the spring comes, they're going to have their leaves come out again and be refreshed and beautiful again. And that's kind of what sleep does. I mean, sleep is an active time of hormone production. And what we're doing is we're making hormones that actually suppress our appetite while we're sleeping. And we're diminishing the hormones that cause us to feel hungry, that makes our stomach ache and urge for more food. So we're actively processing things that our brain is interpreting for our diet as a consequence of sleep. And so we really need that downtime to restore and rejuvenate.
Restore. Now, so you mentioned the word hormone, and I know that your background, your practice actually deals with a lot of fertility, right? I mean, that's primarily what you're
I'm a reproductive endocrinologist. I'm a gynecologist and a reproductive endocrinologist, although I deal with a lot of wellness in general. But that just means that I deal with a lot of the hormones to do with the biology of reproduction.
So let me ask you, as I'm certainly on the side of the aging population, as you're approaching your 50s or as you're in your 50s, is it true that you start losing volumes of hormone production? Is it true that your estrogen levels change, your testosterone levels change? That the aging process depletes that mechanism for us?
Well, anybody that looks in the mirror knows they're different today than they were 10 years ago, right, or 20 years ago. And we're going to be different 10 years from now or 20 years from now than we are today. So, sure, things are in change. I mean, women are accustomed to the concept that it's somewhere in their 50s or thereabouts they're going to go through menopause, which is a window of hormonal change when estrogen drops down. But also men go through menopause, or something called andropause in a more technical term, which simply means that for about at least 30% of men, and maybe a lot more, testosterone levels are going to decline, and there are changes in other hormones as well. Some of that is natural. I mean, think about it. Until the beginning of the 20th century, the average lifespan was only about 50. So living to be into an older age group just wasn't something we worried about. I mean, why are we here? I mean, our body was designed to have kids, pass on our genes, make sure the kids lived old enough to pass on their genes, and then we served our purpose. And now we're living longer, and now we have to really be respectful of the fact that as we age, we've got to do things to take care of ourselves so that the quality of our life continues and that we continue to stay healthy.
But back to that thought, just to finish for me. So we were talking about sleep. We were talking about the production of hormones. Could that be that when I was 35 years old, 5 hours sleep, seemed to be sufficient, and now at 57 years old, it's like the alarm goes off. I've gotten 7 hours sleep, and I'm thinking, God, I'm just not ready to get up yet.
I don't think so. I mean, kids actually need more sleep. I mean, the average high school kid who's got, I think, more energy than most of us know what to do with at this point in time, they actually do better if they get 10 hours of sleep. They're better off with more sleep.